So there's someone here in Fort McMurray that is quite used to helping out people. That's what his job is, but he needs a little bit of our help right now, that's for sure. And I'm here to tell a pretty big story about someone here in Fort McMurray, and I've brought some people pretty close to him to be able to do that here this morning. We're talking about Bo Cooper, and you've probably heard that name over the last couple of weeks. We'll delve more into why you've probably heard that name, but pleased to be joined here in studio by his father, Rob, his wife, Irish, who are here to talk about him today. So first off, really appreciate you both taking the time to come in today. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
So let's talk about Bo a little bit because he works with the fire department here in town, but he has been diagnosed with a pretty rough illness here, and something that's been quite a challenge to deal with. Maybe Rob will get you just to bring people up to speed a little bit on what that's all about.
Yeah, Bo was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in 2010. At the time, the choice of treatment was something called the Dana-Farber regime out of Boston, I believe, Massachusetts. So Bo underwent 2.5 years of chemo, roughly, went into remission, stayed in remission for 4.5 years, and then some symptoms started to come back, which was really odd. Nobody had stayed in remission for that long and never had a relapse. So a bone marrow test revealed that in May of 2014, Bo was required to go through chemotherapy again, and at this point the option was a bone marrow transplant. They were able to find a bone marrow transplant for Bo, went into remission, everything was fine, life was good. And then May of this year, Bo and Irish got married. Life was on its route to be the perfect story at the end of it all. Unfortunately, September of this year, Bo had a routine blood work done, and that routine blood work showed some markers that were indicative that possibly the cancer had returned. We flew him back from the Yukon, where him and I were on a trip, and of course our worst thoughts had occurred, and the cancer had returned. The same cancer, B-cell lymphoblastic leukemia.
What's that like, kind of going through that journey? Just because it's such a specific, specialized type of illness, and it must have been really difficult, at first to sort of narrow down what that was, or was it? What was that kind of like going through the stages of that?
When Bo was initially sick, we had him here. They were unable to discover what was wrong with Bo. They had checked for everything they could think of, could not find what was wrong with Bo. And unfortunately, a lot of people with leukemia pass away because the physician doesn't realize what they have. Bo was basically within about 24 hours of losing his life when local physician Dr. Booney discovered what it was. And once it was discovered, we started the treatment process then. So, it's been difficult. I've, gone through the process of losing the possibility of losing my son. This is roughly the 4th time now. And that's a really difficult thing. CAR T-cell therapy is for leukemia kind of like insulin was for diabetics.
Right.
It's still in its early years. It's roughly 5 to 8 years in development, found through surprise and unexpected surprise. Right now, there's roughly 51 test centers in the world. Canada doesn't have any of them until we just found out just recently. But Bo was excluded from that trial because of the drug that he's presently on that isn't working.
Right.
That drug is called Blinthosite, and it's a drug that is used prior to the CAR T-cell when there was no CAR T-cell. So they put Bo on. It was donated by the drug company. We weren't even allowed to purchase it in this country. The physicians had to sign a Canadian government waiver that we would not pay any money for that drug, and the drug company was kind enough to donate it to try on Bo.
Right.
Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be working right now. So now the CAR T-cell therapy phases, they don't like to talk about survival percentages and stuff, but if you read online and look at it, roughly 90% of the people that have received CAR T-cell therapy are around and walking right now. And that's unfounded. And this wasn't available 5 years ago when Bo initially got sick. Why we're not doing any of those trials in Canada, to be honest, I have no idea why that is. And we're just trying to find one that will accept them, and to do that, we need to come up with money.
For sure. And Irish, I'll bring you in on this. Just from your perspective, what's this all been like? Has this been fairly overwhelming? Because like Rob mentioned, you guys just got married earlier this year. You were doing so well earlier in the year, and then it sort of took this sharp turn. What's this all been like for you?
It's been really hard, and it's been so overwhelming because, this is not something you should experience in your 20s. And we've been doing this since I was 18 and Bo was 20, and it's just been overwhelming, and it's been up and down, and I thought everything was going good until we found out that Bo's leukemia came back, and ever since it's just been I haven't been here. It's just been so crazy.
And you talk about seeing him go through this before, and I mean sort of like I was talking about with Rob, just sort of the highs and lows. What have you guys found has been a way to deal with that sort of emotional side of it?
Well, I find that friends and family support has been really helpful. I mean, I read through all the comments every day, and that's what gets me through the day, and all the donations and help that everybody's been doing in this town. It's just, it keeps my sanity, to be honest. And
I want to be able to give you both the opportunity to kind of talk about Bo the person in this, because it's sometimes lost in things like this, where we're very focused on the disease and the treatment options like we should be, but always I think important for people to hear about the guy he's like. Maybe I'll start with you, Rob. Just obviously this is your son, him probably better than anyone there. What would you for people that maybe don't know him, how would you describe him to somebody that asked on the street?
It's so hard. Bo really enjoys the outdoors. He's always been somebody that wants to be out fishing, and when I look back at a lot of our time together, we spent a lot of time together. It's always something like that. When Bo was young, he had asked me, when he was going through school and deciding on careers in his life, he had asked me, he said, "Dad, you always say being a firefighter is the best job in the world. Why don't I want to do that?" And doing what we do is tough.
And I can even turn it back to you too, Irish, because this is obviously somebody who's your best friend, and you've been around for a long time now, and even just talking about him as the guy you knew for so many years, what's he like? Same sort of question. If somebody stopped in the street and asked you what he's like, how would you describe him?
He's a fighter. That's the word I can think about when I think about him, is he's a fighter, and he never complains, ever. Ever since he got diagnosed, I've never heard him once say, why me? Or this, why is this going on? He just always wants to make everybody happy.
The problem with waiting is the time required to raise the kind of funds that we need. Time's relentless. As is Bo's disease. It's not waiting. It really doesn't care. If we wait to find out at the last minute that we can't get him into the one funded program that there is in the U.S., then time has run out on us. I'm not sure what kind of father it takes.
Because it's in the I mean, it's in the range of a $500,000, right?
Right.
I mean, we're talking that sort of expense, and
We're talking between $600,000 and $800,000 US.
wow, yeah,
It's a big mountain to climb. It seems like a big mountain to climb until you really start breaking it down. If 50,000 people gave $10, that puts us at $500,000. If 25,000 people gave $20, it puts us at that amount. When you start to break it down and we see how numbers of people and how this great community has been, and this really is a great place for McMurray. And if we look at how small that $20 seems, to go out of your way.
And Irish, you talked earlier sort of about seeing some of the comments posted online and being able to read what people are saying, and what about the community's response to all of this? What have you been surprised with, or have you been surprised at what the community's been saying and what the community's been doing?
And yes, I am surprised, and no at the same time. I mean, I never expected to be this big, but at the same time, like, this is Fort McMurray, and I've lived here for over 10 years, and I know what the people are like here, and people here are amazing. But to see how fast the outcome, like, the people, sorry.
I've seen a lot of people lose their babies too.
And this is one where,
And I'm trying to spare mine.
And you're powerless in this situation. And, I think a lot of people can relate to that kind of helpless feeling, right? Where you're trying to do as much as you can, but, at the end of the day, it's just something out of your control. And I wonder, too, about the fire department here and, how they've sort of stepped up, to help out, and kind of the relationship you have with them.
The fire department has done exactly what any of us expect them to do every day. They've stepped up, and I'm humbled by it. And it's relentless. These guys, the fire department, and we call it the brotherhood. The brotherhood, every woman firefighter knows it doesn't mean man. It doesn't mean anything. Brotherhood is the brotherhood. And they've stepped up big, and I'm humbled by it. I've kind of stopped saying thanks because it seems cheap for what they're doing. I don't know what the word is you say to people, that are doing this. Kind of like when Bo got his transplant. How do you thank that?
Yeah.
I know that, pardon me, I'm trying to get it together. But, when the tones go off at the station, Bo never asked what it was. He put on his gear, and he went through the door. Never asked anything.
So we started the GoFundMe page, which really seemed to be the vessel that really got everything going and really started drawing attention to Bo and to his fight. And the community and people as far away as Ontario that we're aware of have donated to this fund. It's as simple as going to the GoFundMe page and just typing in Bo Cooper, and it'll come up as the Bo Cooper Leukemia Treatment Fund. And anybody with a credit card can donate through that venue. And basically what that did is it created a lot of interest. Like I said, locally and across Canada, we've had support from our brother firefighters throughout Alberta, through other local fire departments have stepped up to help donate, as well as we're starting to receive donations from straight across Canada, and it's absolutely amazing. And like Rob had said before, it's impossible to show that gratitude and thanks to everybody that has taken an interest in this, and from the fire department's perspective and the membership and the brotherhood that's to Rob and to his family, to Irish. It's amazing. It's overwhelming, and we're so thankful for that support as well. Again, on behalf of Bo and his mom, who can't be here, Rob and Irish, everybody is so thankful and appreciative. Mm-hmm. The fire department, we're so thankful.
Yeah, and that's a great sentiment there, Rob. And listen, just want to thank you folks for being here today. This is obviously a tough subject to talk about, but I know that people draw inspiration from your strength here today, and we'll definitely be looking to get out and support you guys. And I think if you throw a challenge in front of Fort McMurray, it's usually pretty good at getting out there and giving it a really great shot.